Everybody, welcome to another installment of Show de Vie with Mike G, the show of life, the show of Prince, the Monkeys, questions sourced from previous guests. That's right, this is episode 201. I didn't think I would make it here. It's been 2.5 years of talking, sharing, sipping with some of the greatest people I've ever met. It's been a life-defining and life-changing experience for me, of which I cannot tell you how grateful and how thankful I am to be able to talk to these people and to be able to share these moments. And this is a special episode in the fact that, for episode 100, we learned a little bit more about me. Yes, self-centered perhaps, but this time I wanted to turn the tables yet again and take some questions from previous guests. So I had the wonderful co-host, Mr. Shid, Barrett of 7 Grand and Las Perlas, Austin, a good mate. We sipped some Maker's Mark and we just kind of chatted through some of these questions, chatted about life, and I think we worked through some things here. I know this helped me work through some things, and I think that maybe I could shed some kind of light on some of these questions that people are asking themselves, and I can drop a lot of F-bombs doing it. It's like my house, man. It's my show, so I felt free to do so. So without further ado, I hope you guys enjoy this chat with myself and Shid Barrett, fielding some questions from previous guests.
That kind of leads into one of these guys. I'm looking. Mike Rogers from Balcones.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Yeah. Basically, is essentially what we're talking about, which is your ability to put a guest at ease and open up a natural ability or something that you had to learn along the way. And if it's learned, then how did you learn it? It's like I think
that was a great question.
Yeah.
Because in all fairness, so I asked people that had been on the show because they'd been exposed to an hour of me berating them and questioning them, interrogating and all of that. But yeah. Mike, he'd listened to the show for kind of forever. And we finally got to sit down and chat after the food festival, the one C3 puts on.
Yeah.
And that was a great chat. But so he's very thoughtful. And so I thought about this thing. And when I talk about podcasting or when I talk about interviewing people and being in these moments with them, it's something I like to call emotional equity.
Yeah.
Right? So you offer up a little bit of yourself and you offer up something that is potentially really personal. Now, it doesn't have to be so self-effacing. You're talking about deep depression or anything like that. But yeah. I'm here to say, I'm going to put something out there. You can return the volley or not. And that's really up to you. That's the concept, or that's the way in which I try to engage with people. But ultimately, my mom is completely disarming. She has this innate ability to just... That's so she'll ask you something that you would have never thought yourself, and perhaps you're asking yourself, why is this woman asking me this question?
Yeah.
But you'll answer it because you're not being judged, and she just has this look. She's like, I just am.
Yeah, it's whatever. Yeah.
I'm just interested.
Yeah.
In you. So I don't know if it's something that you can learn. You can always learn to listen, but
super difficult to do these days.
Right.
Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got something to say.
Of course.
But more, it's like the investment in your belief of what you're saying may outweigh in most cases. It's a byproduct of stubbornness, I think.
Right. But you know what? If you listen and you let other people deflate, in a sense, get that energy out there, get maybe what is anger, aggression, tension out, then you can truly talk. Because if they're coming from a point in which it's me versus you versus me, conversely, that's always different. That's always more difficult. So asking a question that isn't rote, that isn't about how do you like working at blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right? Like once you go
sell.
Right. Sell. Then it becomes a little more real. So to Mike's question, I really don't know if there's anything that anybody can learn to be able to connect with people, but something we can all get better at and something that we all can learn to do much more effectively is just fucking listen.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
That's it.
Here, I will say that I do have a question on the side note.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever, in all of these that you've done, I've always wondered this because I haven't listened to them all.
Yeah.
But some people that you have interviewed, I thought were intriguing, and I still never got around to listening to them. But have you ever been in a situation where someone has actually been less personal or less open, or even a bit of more less personal and maybe more like industry wall-esque,
right?
kind of like
almost sterile.
Yeah. Like,
yes.
Here I am. My name is so and so, and I'm working for Shit Bob McGee Distillery, and it's like very like you're like, hey man, tell me about what's your favorite jam, like, and you're like, I mean, you ever had anything like that?
So, much like the Watergate tapes, the people, I don't know if they've even been able to hear them as to this date. These conversations occurred, and we're all kind of wondering what the fuck was talking about. So, I have 8.5 minutes of a conversation that was so grueling, so superficial, and intensely impersonal. And it wasn't with someone from the brand ambassador side. It wasn't from someone that's on the hospitality side. Because you know what? Those people are incredible. And they know how to connect because that's their fucking job.
Yeah.
This was a journalist.
And guarded then, I imagine.
Insanely guarded. Nothing mattered. Nothing was important. It was all just a big joke, and it's not cool enough to talk about. But to top that off, and yes, there's 8 minutes of this tape that I have. And someday, I won't say who it is, and I'll slow down the vocal, and everybody can kind of interpret it for themselves. But ultimately, this person called me a misogynist. And said that I was perpetrating the male agenda. Yeah, and so I'm like, have you heard of any of this stuff? I know what I don't know, and I really want to go into situations I'm uncomfortable and unfamiliar with because that's how I'll learn. But it's been every kind of person, man. It doesn't really matter. And that was the only instance. 200 and probably 20 interviews, right? This will be 200, but I've got plenty backstocked.
Yeah.
This was the only one. I hit the space bar and I said, we're not doing this. And she looked at me and she said, what, you're ending this? I said, yeah, you're not giving me anything. This is like a horrendous date.
Wow.
We're calling it now. I felt real nervous doing that because I've never done that with anybody, ever. But it was the best decision I made out of 220 fucking episodes, dude. It was insane. Damn. So there is, again, 8 minutes of tape.
Oh man, I can't imagine. No, I'm just trying to envision that kind of language, and you just sit here like,
dude. Can you?
Was she here?
No, I was remote. But can you imagine us having a moment in which I have to say, Shid, I can't talk to you anymore, man. I gotta go. This is not working.
It's fucked up. I mean, you have to be. I mean.
Think about how difficult this conversation would have to escalate to. What kind of level? It'd be
my God.
It's insane.
It's like you hit the space bar to start it and be like, hey man, I think Charlottesville was a great idea. And you're like, fucking idiot. You're out of here. Like, what? Oh my God.
Even then I'd be like, let's talk about this a little bit, right? Can we just peel that layer of the onion back for a second and can we just slowly say that? Right.
Yeah.
So, but yes, it's strange that happened.
Oh man. Oh, that's crazy. All right. You know what? That leads. Here's a. I'll throw you a looper here. How many people have left with a bigger impression, or in other words, like the most impacted or changed your opinions or beliefs on a specific topic or subject matter?
I'll tell you the one thing. Being the kind of kid that really was solitary. Aquariuses are like that, but also I moved all the time. So I was very introspective and reflective, and I didn't necessarily want to connect with people because I thought I had all the answers. I still, in some sense, get that stubborn where I think I do. So not that it was a particular person, but what I realized is in having the ability and the privilege of spending an hour or an hour and a half with somebody that I had a preconceived notion about, I am always fucking wrong. So this is the thing, is that I would say, well, this person must be like this. We want to put people in boxes.
Assumptions are the mother of all fuck-ups.
Right. They really are. And you think that that's the right way to kind of process things. But ultimately, I am open to everyone now. I don't care what they appear like on social media, because sometimes that's a flavor of reality for us and how we perceive these people. Yeah. But no, everybody, with that one exception, has been just lovely. People are lovely. And people, if they can tell you really want to have an honest moment with them, whether it's from across the bar or whether it's from across this power play seat thing that we're looking at here.
Yeah, this is still badass, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, you got the driver's seat. That was the thing. So if there was any bigger message or bigger motivation to distill from all this thing, is people will always surprise you. And they always surprise you in the greatest of ways. So let them surprise you.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, and I think it just, to speak to that, to my own personal experiences, I just remember being like, I remember the first 20 minutes we were chopping.
Yeah.
I just remember being like, in my head, I'm like, what? Like, it was almost like we're having fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess it probably took me about 20 minutes before I forgot there was a microphone in front of me.
Absolutely.
And it was just kind of like, and I think, and collectively, I think we maybe spoke about work, maybe.
Sure, a little bit.
Like, I don't know, 10
But
minutes.
that doesn't define us, right?
No, not at all. That was great. I mean, I still, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm glad that other people, I remember like, man, Mike's trying to interview me, and they're like, what's going on with that? I'm like, man, I remember being like, I remember feeling like that initially.
Yeah.
But then after that, I'm like, fucking talk to him, man. It's a fucking blast. Are you kidding me? We just get to chop it up and drink.
Yeah.
I mean, we do that anyway.
Yeah.
But we just,
But it's quiet here. We have safety. That's one thing that I think is a really great value to this whole thing, is that no one's going to get hurt here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing at stake except the ability to connect better and more deeply with somebody. And that's really important, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's with the ease in which you do it, I'm envious, because it's even as somebody in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, it's more often than not, you deal with people across the stick, where even as your job to read them, they don't want to be fucked with.
Totally.
But you're just trying to give them a little brightness, like, it doesn't matter. It could be 4 ounces of love in a glass, or just, or just chop it up. Like, hey man, you look like ass. Like, what happened to you today? Like,
right.
But just being a human and not being, but there's something to be said for that in terms of how effective you've done it, especially with me. Like, we've just been genuinely organic.
Yeah.
From the jump. But I don't know, it's great, man.
Just ask what you're thinking. Don't ever be afraid to go a little bit further.
Yeah. Are you going to eat that? Do you want that? Is that yours? I'm just saying. Oh man. Okay. So, Dr. Nicholas Morgan has got a good one for you.
Love Dr. Nick.
Yeah. He wonders on your view on golden ages, old versus new, and if there was a golden age you could live in, what and which would it be?
So Dr. Nick, who I hope I can call a friend, we hung out when I went to London recently, and he's somebody that I immediately just kind of connected with. Seeing the fucking Clash in the 70s, I mean, any dude that actually has done that, amazing, right?
Yeah.
And he's been with Diageo for over 26 years. It's an incredible thing.
That's it?
Yeah. But, we talked about this concept of the golden age and what is ultimately the bedrock of the Trump administration is that it's that make America great again insinuating that it hasn't been so great. But then, okay.
What was ever wrong with it in the first place?
That's right. So let's go. When was it good? 60s? Not really for some people, right? It was
30s? No, 40s?
Not good.
Yeah, like... Yeah.
So it's one of these concepts where I keep going back and I try to think about, at least for me, what was a great period. And, I am an 80s kid. I got to understand things. I got to understand sexuality. I got to understand music, art, film, all during the 80s. So my whole frame of mind about aesthetic is basically from the 80s. You think about Depeche Mode, you think about John Carpenter, of which it just comes back, Stranger Things, and you got Survive and all these guys doing this stuff. So the 80s for me, even though I didn't see the underbelly necessarily, the seedy underbelly of greed and capitalizing on yuppie-ness, I didn't see that because I was a kid. To me, that's an amazing period of time, both cinematically and musically. And it's just, I'm forever influenced by that. And golden era, I don't know. I was never married. I was never in love in the 80s because I was too young, but fucking probable. Real probable.
Yeah.
Sean, there's so many, like Daryl Hannah and Wall Street. You've got all the like kind of demure women that are battling serial killers in the 80s and shit. I mean, that's where I kind of developed my aesthetic and attraction for people just in general. It's insane, man.
I would, you could easily colorize the 80s as probably one of the most influential and creative.
Totally.
I mean, going back to our first conversation, we were talking about Poltergeist. It's just like, I mean, come on, man.
Poltergeist.
Yeah.
When else?
By the way, that 80 fucking one, that movie.
81? No, it's 84. Poltergeist is anyway. So this is a point of stuff I don't ever get into, like on the mic. But suffice it to say, the guy who directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre ultimately gets a chance to make a Hollywood movie. Spielberg says, "You got the tone right, but I'm gonna come in and tweak a little bit." But you have this perfect collaboration of eeriness, music, or not? Well, it's just soundtrack.
No, the fucking soundtrack was crazy in that film.
Crazy shit, dude. Yeah.
Strings with the apparition coming down the stairs. Oh fucking man. Come on.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah, I definitely I could respond to that. So 80s definitely. I could see you if there was a way to cycle loop from like 80 to 89, I could definitely that would be my pick.
Wait, real quick to end that question, 3 words. 4 words. Pump up the volume. Done. Christian Slater at his best. It epitomizes the 80s. Yeah, dude. Oh my god.
Oh man, pump up the volume.
So good.
Let's see. Ooh, Lynn House from Heaven Hill.
Yeah, Lynn.
Ooh, this is a heavy one, man. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. And the pitch. Name a person you have never met that you consider a mentor. And how did that person influence you?
So someone that I was able to interview that I had never met that influenced me? Is that kind of, I think that's what Lynn was kind of saying. Well, so I've heard many stories about Tomas Estes prior to meeting him, the kind of man that he is, how loving, how liberal, but not in a pejorative way, but just open to the world.
That fucker, dude, he needs a fucking halo around that. He just walks around with like,
right.
What's with the cat with the rest of laurels? Like, oh, that's Tomas. Don't fuck with him, please.
Exactly. Yeah. And I didn't really get, just from people, what is ultimately hearsay, I didn't get the full understanding of what that man's like in person, to peel through layer of love, of experience, of ultimately this incredible depth and spirituality. So I had 2 episodes with Tomas at different times in my life and at different times in his life, and I left both of those times feeling completely mentally purged.
Really?
As if some clarity had descended upon my mind.
What was it from his attitude, like just his how he handled himself? Or?
Yeah, well, it's this sage-like quality that he has that just he speaks intentionally. Everything he's trying to say, he's thought about so many times, and he can articulate it in a way that only an eloquent speaker and a man of maturity can do. So it's like talking to Lincoln, right? A man that's passionate. But think of Lincoln, if Lincoln was a philosopher. That's kind of the gravitas of chatting with Tomas. And I had two completely different experiences, one of which was really early in the morning at a hotel, and then one of which was upstairs in a lowly lit, basically a dining room of a restaurant. And it was aesthetically beautiful, and the mood was just slightly dark. But not dark in terms of negativity, but just pensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you hinge on every one of his fucking words. And I will tell Tomas this, and we'll talk about it, but he has a life worth capturing. And I've only luckily been able to capture maybe 2 hours with him.
No, I've been in awe at it. I mean, it's been, yeah. I mean,
yeah, right.
I felt bad for him. I remember, when I say that, I just mean like, to speak to what you're saying.
Yeah.
I was in, was it San Francisco? No, it might have been Tales 2 years ago. And he was doing an event, and he was just finishing up, and I was standing, like, I'd seen him, like, there's so many people trying to shake his hand and talk to him, and I was just like, oh man, I just want to chop it up, but he looks tired, I was just like, fuck.
Yeah, he's 72 now.
Yeah.
So
I remember I just tapped him. I was like, hey man, I just want to thank you. That was really brilliant. He was like, oh, and literally just was like, I'm thinking this dude is ready to leave. Like this cat he's been in it for a minute on this event, and he literally I don't want to say entertained me, but just he was like, hey man, what are you into? What are you feeling? Like he was very like,
he is connected to people, and where some people are too busy, they can't make time for you in that moment, Tomas gives you his entire attention.
Yeah.
And you feel intimacy with a man you've never met. You feel a connection to a larger goal, like a larger paradigm, a larger perspective on the universe. And those are very special things for me that I use the word recharge. They recharge perhaps my faith in people, but they certainly recharge my understanding of how the universe works and how I am just kind of existing in it.
Would you say that you have to be, do you often recharge? Are you are you that fortunate? Like, I guess it's
right. Something I've been kind of battling with lately is that if you talk to living vicariously either through people or through a TV show or a movie, right? These are things that are normal, right?
Right.
You listen to a song, you kind of dive in it, and you kind of imagine the time and place, especially if it's a live recording. I'm developing a little bit of a strange dichotomy because I am asking everybody these deep and personal questions, and I feel like they're really putting a lot on the line. But selfishly, again, maybe even while we're chatting tonight, beyond like this being a great accomplishment, I don't feel like I've got an outlet.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And when it's not one-sided. That's not the right way to, because it is an exchange for sure. But it's not going to make for a good podcast if someone's asking me questions every time for an hour. And it's not easy to do. So I'm just trying to build that balance because I'm selfishly really feeling recharged, and I almost crave that connection with people. Yeah. And that's why maybe even obsessively I'm going and doing these episodes and just putting out content as much as I can.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you don't think that your efforts go unnoticed for sure. Firstly, I just don't. But I also think that I could see where you're getting the tank is full, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you have a lot to respond to, and it's almost like it's I can imagine you even being at one point maybe like somebody leaves the room, and they're gone, and you're kind of like, fuck, I should have said this, or I should have asked that question. It's almost like like when you're about to square off in the at recess.
Yeah.
And you're shit talking each other in a fight, and then all of a sudden you walk away, you're like, oh shit, man, I could have said this. I could have put his mom down like that,
The best way to succinctly put that feeling, you watch Seinfeld?
Oh man, don't hate me, but no.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
The jerk store. it's a quip, comeback that George thinks of after everybody's left the fucking room. I try not to punish myself too much for thinking, oh man, I should have asked this and that, because this is a moment, and in a way, I feel like this is improvisational. Or riffing off of each other.
Right.
And whatever comes of that is a true testament to the moment itself. So, yeah, maybe there's a couple of things I meant to ask. I go in, but ultimately it's still insanely fulfilling.
Yeah. Well, I guess I could ask you this too. Trevor from Rika.
Trevor, yeah.
Yeah, just totally kind of bleeds into what we just talked about in terms of what motivates you to continue to interview more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe that's it. Some of that's in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little. There is a little bit of self-centeredness in that I feel recharged by talking to other people. But you know what? Like, the thing that maybe I have or have not said about this whole project and doing this and continue to do it is that who else is here doing this? Who is chronicling the lives at this most amazing point in time in this industry? In art, you know?
Yeah, I don't think not this way.
Not this way.
No.
And it's all brand stuff. It's like, oh, what brand do you work for? What cocktail do you want to make us? What's the ingredients, you know? Well,
I don't think it's even being archived in that fashion. I mean, it's apart from
yeah.
I mean, apart from like a social media post,
right?
You know, with like, oh, most imaginative bartender, and
yeah,
like, but it's not even in terms
of transactional. Like, I want to build a repository. You want to know a guy? Like, you want to actually know a guy? You want to know Tomas? You want to know Carlos Camarena? Like, go listen to the interview. These are research materials or reference books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like kind of the point. Is, of course, I want to have these moments, but because so many people are so goddamn interesting, have lived these just charmed lives of which they've got so many things that they've accomplished. Like, if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? You know what I mean?
I mean, it's you know how it is, man. There's so many people that have brilliant ideas,
right?
And it's kind of, I mean, even for me, not to bring this about me, but the experience of going, you know what, man, I'm going to write a book,
right? Which is incredible.
Yeah.
Which we will absolutely revisit because I want to talk about it.
Well, but the idea of just was like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to do that, and then it was almost like, and then the work starts, and then you're kind of like, okay, this is impossible in some respects, because I'm stressed out. I way stressed out.
Yeah.
Probably 3 months in, because of the fact that I just every fucking sentence that I wrote, I was like, Adam Harris is going to read this,
right?
Or like all of my friends, all of my mentors,
yeah.
You know, like, and that's the weird thing for me to say, because these people are the people that I was more anxious about were people that I see every day, or people that I have a relationship with personally. So, but it was daunting, and it was like, I don't, you know, like super nervous about it, but it was just kind of like,
of course, so here's the thing. Either you think about it or you do it, right? So either you put the pen to the page or you think about why you should put the pen to the page. But for me, what's the risk of just going out and doing it, right? Maybe I have a bad hour with somebody. Maybe I have an experience that's not as good as many of the rest. Maybe I have to cut off a fucking interview. But if I don't go and do it and put myself at the front line and be exposed, then there's no point, right? We get one chance at this, and of course you can talk about reincarnation and stuff, but right now in this moment, we get one chance. Yeah. You want to spend it on something that you regret later, that you think, I was capable of this thing, but I just couldn't get around it. I was so busy. Fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. What's fucked up is that I think a lot of people relate to that.
Totally.
And it's not.
You're never too busy to love something.
Yeah.
If you love something, you'll make time for it.
Yeah.
And I love people. I love my wife. I love my dog. I love spirits. I love you. I love so many people. And this is definitely a thing that I've been imbibed with from Tomas, right? Just show it.
Yeah.
Stop talking about it. Just show that you do.
So it harkens back to our first conversation where we were just like, you know, what the fuck are you going to do about it? You know, like we were just going in like, you know, like you're going to change your Facebook, put the fucking meme over your Facebook profile photo, like, we believe you, and, you know, like thoughts and prayers, or, you know, whatever. And it's like, okay, can you translate it? Is that effort? Or, I mean, I can think about it too, but what are we doing? How constructive can you be?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I commend you for that, man. It really is. I think that's something that probably should be articulated in the respect that the fact that these are archives in terms of information.
Of course.
Because, I mean, how many events have we all been to? Let's say Carlos Camarena was here, or Tomas was here. You know, at the end of those things, you do want to have time. You want to have
all you want is just one-on-one time to talk about their lives.
What would it be like to chop it up with him and have a copita or something?
And so I am the fucker that chose to do it. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this thing. And then I ask people if I can talk to them, and eventually it gets easier and easier because I've talked to enough people, you know?
Oh, yeah, man.
That's how it goes. Just put in the time. It's just like anything else.
Yeah.
Just sharpen your tools.
Sharpen your tools.
Yeah.
I'm digging that, man. What else we got? Who do you most wish to have on the podcast that you haven't been able to score?
So a few months ago,
Denzel doesn't count.
I don't think Denzel and I would get along, actually.
Really?
Yeah, he feels the energy feels different. Now, Chris Pine, because I was just thinking about Unstoppable, right? Just because we're in a movie from Tony Scott together. He's got that goofiness. Like, I think I could do it. But Denzel seems insanely serious. And I am a fucking zany, lame-brained dude. I'm not really, really that serious. But, so a few months ago, I had the pleasure of interviewing Francois Thibault, the creator of Grey Goose. Thanks to Dwayne Fernandez of Bacardi. Again, ask and you shall receive, even if it's at 6:30 in the morning and have to. But amazing experience. So we had dinner the night previous, and no other than Mr. Dale DeGroff was at the table. And knowing that I've wanted to interview Dale because he is one of the founding members of this consciousness, of this narrative, of this whole fucking culture, I asked him one question. And I knew he'd have an answer for it. And I've been thinking about this question because I really want to talk to Dale. I don't want to talk about cocktails, really. I want to talk about him as a New Yorker, him as an actor, him as a man, right? So I said, hey, Dale, you don't know me from fucking Adam, and that's fine, but did you ever audition for a Scorsese movie? And he says, actually. And I was like, I knew it. They're contemporaries, he and Harvey Keitel, he and Martin Scorsese, right?
Yeah.
Says, yeah, I interviewed for Mean Streets, and I didn't get it. Like, fuck. So that was, if nothing else, a teaser for me to dive more in to Dale DeGroff. And he will be in town next month. And I may be able to secure an hour with the man who's done so much for everybody. We'll see. But that's still the one. That was even last year. That was the kind of the guy that I really wanted to interview. And I've had the pleasure of interviewing other people I never thought would be possible, like Richard Patterson, for fucking instance, dude. Oh, man.
Patterson, man.
Wow. Yeah, it was one-on-one time with him where he's telling me, these are good questions. The man who's been interviewed hundreds of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I felt a little good about that. But, of course, the answer still remains, maybe until next month at Dale DeGroff.
Right on. Yeah. Would you, okay, so... Well, I guess you would. You just answer that in a way. I was just going to ask you, like, would you lean the conversation the way you ideally would want it to go? Or are you thinking about questions that you think the industry would love to hear?
This is about me. Selfishly, what I want to know somewhat intersects with, I think, what the industry wants to know. And that's that commentary on sociology, that's a commentary on trends, a commentary on hospitality. But
I wouldn't want you to do it.
No, but I mean, for me, I'm like, I know you dated famous actresses, Dale. Yeah. I know that you hung out at CBGB's in the 70s. You had to have.
Yeah.
That's the shit I really want to know about, you know?
Man, I hope it happens. And I hope, no, I'm serious, man. Like, I really would love to hear that man speak about something where he's not
cocktail.
Yeah, man. Just because underneath that, man, just his swagger and everything about it, it leans to something else.
Totally.
But no one's asking those questions. So.
No. And maybe it's disinteresting, but a man of that stature and a man that's lived that kind of life in New York who's wrote a play. I mean, I don't know if people realize this or not, but he's wrote a play. He's a writer. He's an actor. Let's dive into the man himself, man. We're not what we do. We're not our work. So someone else also just like this week said, you have to interview Ron Cooper. And I'm like, yeah, I want to. And I'm going to write him a handwritten letter so that I can meet him halfway between Santa Fe and Taos.
Yeah.
But they think they're like, we'll put you at him and see what you do with Ron. You know what I mean? And I mean, it's kind of it's flattering that people want to hear how I would ask questions of these people.
I think, well, I mean, I think it goes back to the way you ask questions. I think people are often surprised at how, I mean, I think when I sat down and you were like, hey man, what's your feeling on, beats? And I was like, what? What is going on? But I mean, even something more serious,
sure,
like even asking a personal question and getting a very personal answer, followed by more.
Yeah.
It can't just end with like, hey, I'm going to ask you something crazy personal. Like, tell me about your father and how he treated you as a child. And then sometimes you're like, fucking, I don't know, just kind of an asshole, or you get Waterworks, and then all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, okay.
I've had some Waterworks. It's been incredible.
We've had, crazy.
No, I mean, that's the only time I've not broke down, but kind of cracked a little bit behind the mic. So, but there's been some others that have been great.
It's definitely, there we go. Pass that puppy over here. Drinking the Makers.
This is y'all's bottle, yeah?
Yeah, man. This is the $7,000 Makers Private Select. Only available.
And we're privately
selecting it right now into our bellies.
Not so bad. Not so bad at all. See? Another perk.
Yeah.
To the job.
Yeah. Oh, it's a blessing.
It is.
It's an insane blessing. What an incredible experience. Those guys, Makers is like a fucking Disneyland, man.
Yeah.
It's for adults. Let's see. Why was there a Mike Myers mask on your coffee table when Judah and I were there last time, says Francisco?
So one thing to preface the answer is that Francisco and I, it felt like we were arch nemeses.
Really?
For a long time.
What?
Yeah, we didn't like each other, and it felt like we didn't like each other, but then it truly became something special, man, and I keep in touch with him, and I really do consider him just a wonderful person. So I'm going to go visit him in Oaxaca very soon because I have to do that. But the Mike Myers mask, well, it's a nice icon for one, and I was thinking about how I could answer this question and say, well, finally I'm caught as this man who has ransacked many houses and burglarized people in a Mike Myers mask. That's not the case. In fact, it was a role reversal Halloween costume from 2 to 3 years ago, in which I played Jamie Lee Curtis. And I had stuffed my bra and was wearing, really nice tug jeans that accentuated my hips.
Inappropriately tight?
No camel ball or whatever you want to call it when a guy wears really tight jeans. But
camel ball, yeah, okay. I guess that would work, yeah.
But yeah, so that was it. So we kept it around with the knife. It's a play knife, and I love having stuff that makes me think about John Carpenter, stuff that makes me think about the fall, stuff that makes me think about Halloween, just kind of around, man. So we've always connected to that stuff, and that's why. I mean, I just sometimes wonder what he thought. If he's thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Is this some weird, like...
Whoa, wrong bar, buddy. Hold on here.
We're going to go.
Yeah. What is happening here?
No one died, though, I promise. Yeah. No one died.
That you should have like that and like just some cartoons just in the background and just sit there. Just
Animaniacs.
Yeah.
Oh my
what's going
God.
on in here, man? We're like, hey,
No, they'll leave real fast.
Let's see. Ooh.
See, I like as I'm talking, like you get the choice to pick through these questions.
I know, it's crazy. These are really good fucking questions.
Not bad.
All right, you ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite band or album from each decade, starting from the 60s.
Fucking Dan, dude. Dan is amazing.
That's a fucking man. We could be here for days.
Yeah. Thank God for Dan, man. He made me think about a lot of different things. So, but I try to make it succinct. Obviously, the Beatles were the 60s, but I want to be more specific than that. And the record that was insanely influential in terms of production, in terms of vocal harmonies, is Pet Sounds 64, right? So I can't think of another record, maybe the Zombies potentially, but that's at 69. For me, that really defined that decade in terms of my understanding of
You're saying the Zombies define that decade?
Yeah, well, Odyssey and Oracle is a tight match for me with Pet Sounds. And then, you got Revolver. It's unfair for the Beatles records, so I got to take those off because you got Revolver, you got Sgt. Pepper's all in the same fucking spot. So, Edge and Edge, with vocal harmonies especially, Odyssey and Oracle, 1969, the Zombies, and they didn't ever actually get to play that record. They broke up before it came out, even though they came and did a reunion tour, which is amazing. Or 64, Pet Sounds. Okay. No doubt. 70s.
Give it to me.
1977, News of the World, Queen's, just an amazing behemoth of the record with We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions.
Yeah, I know.
Get Down, Make Love. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's mind altering. It's not even...
It's totally insane.
I think you should actually throw that out. That shouldn't even count.
But nobody knows that record. They know the singles.
A lot of people know that record.
They should know that record, but I don't think they do know that record. It's an amazing, from Melancholy Blues, Get Down, Make Love. I mean, you have this sonic texture throughout that whole record of which they capture every element of the band they are. Slow ballads, big anthemic rock I mean, everything. And I sang that record a lot as a kid.
I will say this. This is something I've thought about. I was asked, I don't know, we were just drinking.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of weeks ago, they were like, hey, man, what's one band you wished you saw on Soul Train? And my answer was Queen.
Holy shit, that would have been incredible.
Yeah. I would have tore the house down, dude.
That's insane.
Yeah. I would own that on a fucking... I'm sure somebody would be nerdy enough to put that shit on a laser disc or something. If in fact that did exist, but...
Insane.
I know, right?
Well, so 80s.
80s. There's
the quintessential record, 1980. Actually, people consider it 1990, and that's fine. So I could go music for the masses. Now, I like it how you kind of hit the keyboard and think that it turns it. No, it's all good.
I'm totally like, oh no.
No, but Violator for sure. So I'm gonna call Violator 89 because it still is reminiscent. So Enjoy the Silence, Depeche Mode. You've got Policy of Truth. In A World in My Eyes, everything that defined my whole sense of pop melody in one record. And It's only 9 tracks, and Flood perfected Depeche Mode sound in Violator. 90s is Nevermind, 1991, most influential record of my life. And I don't know if Dan wants 2000s, but it would be Dove's Some City, which is one of the greatest records ever. It's not pop necessarily, but the song structures are just brilliant. It's Brit rock at its fucking finest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could go through the emo stuff where I got really sad. So Curse of Domestica, if you wanted to, or Page of the Lions, Control, which is one of the greatest, most somber records ever that makes you question your whole life. But we'll stick with Some Cities.
Okay.
From Doves. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. No, that one surprised me. That's definitely...
it's such a good record. It's
perfect. I can see the other ones crafted in you so well when we talk about music. But I wouldn't have picked Violator, though.
What would you pick?
No, I'm just saying I'm surprised that you picked... I should say that. I'm surprised you picked Violator.
Really?
Yeah.
Violator is... Really? Why?
I don't know. I felt like it was... I listened to it a lot. I had to.
Yeah.
That was pretty much in high school. It's all fucking... it's all...
Right. But I was only 9 or 10 when it came out. So it's blowing my mind.
Violator was 90...
It's 90 flat, but I do consider it 80s still. Because it's on the hinge, and maybe Dan will be contentious about it. Probably not, but...
Fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I was a sophomore in high school. God damn it. Oh, man. Ooh, okay. This is... Ooh, this might be a little funky. What's the common tie and all of the people in the booze world? We are all so different, but there are 1 or 2 qualities that stand out in making someone great at what they do.
Yeah.
I don't know if is that a question?
Yeah. Who is that?
That's Anne Louise.
Oh, from Barrett.
Yeah.
So it's pretty simple, actually. If you can allow yourself to be vulnerable and allow yourself to reveal things that maybe make you uncomfortable, that makes you successful. You have to understand how we're all flawed, and you have to understand how things need to be worked on, man. whether it's from childhood, whether it's from adulthood, whether it's marriage, whatever
Yeah.
it is, owning a business. Once you can say, yep, I'm here, I'm being transparent, that is a predictor of greatness, I assure you. You can't imagine someone like Tomas not answering a question. Like, I don't feel like answering that. Would never,
it'd be fucking weird.
Ever happen.
Yeah.
So be self-effacing, be vulnerable, and there really is a little risk. So just do it.
Man. Wow.
That's a great question, too.
Yeah, it was. Just because I read it and was like, what is the connectivity? What's the connective tissue between us all? It's just, I think it's just the love. It just not even to the booze.
No, I think it's love of people, love of connecting. I think we're open to learning about each other, even if we don't want to know, or maybe don't want to relate how some people are racist or some people are misogynist. I think we're inquisitive, and we truly want to at least understand the other side, the thing that opposes us in some cases.
2 years ago, I would have said that I think it would have been about the bottle.
Yes.
But I think that in the process of that, it's incredibly, insanely painful. Or actually, it's not painful. It's just apparent at how the proximity in which you are with someone every day, day in and day out, day in and day out. And it's like you live these people's lives with them. You're talking. You do. You're talking life. You're talking breakups. You're talking, like spats at home. You're talking about like, hey, man, it's
the things that compose us as people, man. Yeah. We are only love and compassion.
My favorite, it's such a good question.
It's a great question.
Where would Mike G like to see himself in the craft spirits industry 1, 5, or 10 years from now?
And that's from Lamar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Lamar from Dragon. Dragon.
Dragon.
I don't know, man. 1 year seems reasonable, and I've got an announcement I'll make eventually. It's not final yet, and we'll talk about it off the mic, but people will know when it's proper time. And 5 years, I don't know. Still doing this, still talking to people, still being maybe the people, ultimately maybe I want to be the guy that people want to talk to. You know what I mean? People want to talk to Howard Stern. They do. They seek it out. And in this industry, I want to be the person that people want to talk to, and I want to talk to people. 10 years, the greatest thing or the greatest thought in my mind is that I'll have a palenque in West Texas, and I will have a fully sustainable distillery of which I can make agave spirits.
Follow-up question, will that have a spare bedroom? Because I will be there.
Dude, it's got to have at least 2 spare bedrooms. That is going to be quite the place.
Oh, fuck that, man. But, I'd gladly sleep outside in West Texas any day.
Yeah. So. The quiet, all of that, assuming I don't become insanely self-destructive, which is always looming on my mind, to be honest. But that means I wreck everything. I wreck all my relationships, my friendships and stuff. Assuming that is at bay, then I think that's a brilliant way to live out your later years.
Oh, hell yeah.
Getting, distilling, fermenting, growing the agave, That's really appealing to me.
Do you, oh man, I just had a thought, with regard to just going, well, you said, 5 years or not before, God, I'm sorry. You said, we were talking about, well, just before the West Texas bit, you said something that caught my attention, and obviously it didn't catch it that well. But
was it the bit about being the guy that people want to talk to?
Yeah. Thank you. Have you been going back to this and the art of this conversation in this format?
Yeah.
How is it if we've spoken to archives, if we've spoken to literally catalogs of information of human beings that are near and dear to us professionally and personally?
Sure.
Why have the likes of, say, liquor.com or Imbibe not approach this or embrace this idea? Because I feel like at this point, I mean, do
you want to know the reason?
Yeah.
I've talked to Imbibe, and I've told them, I said, I'll do it for you. Just let me do it. You don't even have to pay me. Tell me what format you want. I want to do it because I want to be the person again that is the person that people want to talk to. It's a really simple question, a really simple answer, and that is money. It's all money, man. Print, online publications just don't have the revenue streams from ads and or usership that they need, and they can't really go above and beyond to deliver an amazing experience. So that's when bands form in garages, and that's when they change the goddamn industry. And so I've got our living room. I have a mobile setup. I'll go where it takes to make sure that we capture this time and place. And maybe in Bible Notice, I'm talking to some people over there, and I want to do it. I want to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to put you on the spot, but that's
I
what
think
I
it's
was
a
just
great
like,
question.
you know what? Like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking, like, how is that not a thing?
It's not easy
I
to
don't
make
know.
content, man. To make good content, it's not particularly easy. I mean, you're experiencing a little taste of this and being on the other side of the microphone. It's not
easy.
Insanely easy.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I mean, I'm over here, like, I'm kind of like
right.
spinning my head left and right looking at this board, but
yeah.
It's yeah, I mean, and it's not to say like, and that's I only asked that question because I think that's you're deserving of something like that.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I am actually working hard. I'm not just putzing around. Putting out content regularly for a reason.
It's incredible at the rate at which you've been doing it lately.
Yeah,
absolutely, it's insane.
Thanks, man.
But I have to ask, like, do you think, like, since we've already asked that question, but hypothetically, do you think that this moment, this intimacy, or the challenge of speaking to somebody, hypothetically speaking, do you think that you would feel directed?
Compromised in a way? Yeah. I know that if big money, quote unquote, comes in, or big publications, quote unquote, come in, that there'll be a format. And I still suspect that I can navigate through what is ultimately a pretty sterile format for most of this stuff to provide a little liveliness to it. Okay. These guys, these brand ambassadors know their shit in and out. They can recite it in their sleep. But getting just a little off brand, just a little bit, but not to the extent of which I would like to conduct them on the show. I think it's possible, man. And, if what's the downside for Imbibe, for instance? To say, what's the objective of Imbibe? Okay, cool. I'll do it. I'll go get the people. Everything's going to be in person. We're not doing any fucking Skype interviews. Cool? Good. Those are my conditions. So, there you go. I think it can happen, man. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be weird on Skype. It would just...
Oh, I hate it.
That'd be weird.
I would never do it. There's nothing can replicate what you and I are experiencing right now.
No.
In this place that smells a certain way. It feels a way. There's a temperature. We're sharing a drink together. I mean, nothing.
You can't push bourbon through a laptop screen.
That's right.
Fucking not gonna
as
happen.
Much as you want.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could.
I
don't think it's gonna be highly effective, but just saying. Well, to that, what do you think future interviews will do for the industry? Our big boy, Billy, has got that one for you.
Billy Hankey, man. Well, I think that's a great question, because if you don't have an objective for the content, how can it be targeted? How can it be specific? How can it be intentional? And I think that as just a dude, I'm just a dude, right?
I know who I am.
That we all want to feel connected, and we all want to feel like we're doing something right, or if we're not, how do we do it right? And maybe these conversations allow someone they have some ambition, some career goals. They're not exactly sure as to what the next step is, to learn from all these masters, in a sense, right? Yeah. Maybe it can be a learning mechanism, and maybe it can be a way for us to commiserate. Maybe it can create a larger community that doesn't have anything to do with brands, but it has to do with how we're feeling.
Right.
And maybe that is a halcyon, altruistic look at how things should be, but I really think it can be that benefit. I think it can provide that. I think it can.
I think perspective is everything. I think I mean, I've learned a great deal from other, interviews. I remember, I think, I guess I reflect back to Cosmos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was really ill prepared for that. That was like the first interview I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, I would love to re-approach it with Jay.
Damn.
Yeah, really? It was the first one. It was great, but
yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I thought
way better now, though.
Well,
but you get better, right?
Yeah.
I can lift more weight now, so to speak. So,
yeah. That's okay. Wow, that's
it's
would
crazy.
have never seen
Yeah, it was
that
the
one.
very first one I ever did. I don't think Jay knows that either.
Oh wow. Yeah. God, it didn't seem like that long ago either. I thought, yeah.
Yeah, it's a while ago.
Fucking JP, man.
Juan Pablo de
Juan
Rueda.
Pablo. Basically, do you regret interviewing anyone?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We don't have to know.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I think I already touched on those 8 minutes of film.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
8
yeah,
minutes
yeah.
of audio.
Anybody else? Anybody like full interview? Maybe.
Let me share something, and it's not regret in the way that you would think, but there have been a few moments so real, and for me at least, hopefully not over understanding or not like thinking it's bigger than it was. There were a few interviews in which it was like intensely connective that it becomes like, what's the next step after this?
You're getting numbers? Like what?
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. And
Like,
I don't ever want to abuse this dynamic because it's pure in itself, and I'm not using it as a way to to meet people, but not to further my own personal relationships and stuff. But there have been a couple times where it's so real. That is an intense connection with people.
yeah. I mean, hey man,
yeah. You expected me to say that. But.
No. It's not even a thing. It's like, it's completely understandable. I mean, that's the people who are. I don't think that there's a protocol for having an ability to connect. I don't care how fucked up you are.
Right.
You can connect with somebody.
That's right.
It's a choice at the end of the day. And it's simply like, if you don't want to connect, if you don't want to have a conversation, then then don't, like.
Exactly.
So.
But yeah, I mean, I've had the privilege of really connecting with some folks, and, I've experienced things emotionally I don't think I ever expected to experience. This is just as revealing for me as it is for them, I think.
Oh, all right. What do you think? Would you have any advice? I mean, this is, as you said, you're lifting some weight, right?
Yeah.
And this has definitely been a creative evolution from 2 years ago or more. What advice would you have for anyone who was embarking on a new endeavor, whether it be a business or just?
Oh, is this from Lauren?
Yeah, it's from Lauren.
Yeah, Lauren's a good friend of mine. She gives me a lot of credit, and I'm just like, she says, the stuff you do, you end up being successful. I'm like, well, success to me is probably a different set of metrics, and maybe it is for other people. But this just goes back to what we said earlier. You can think about doing great things, or you can do great things.
Yeah.
And are you going to do great things out of the gate? Are you going to be able to conduct an interview with someone? Fuck no. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to say, and there's going to be pauses. But ultimately, you find your traction and you can move forward with it. And not believing that you can't move forward is an amazing skill. And again, whether that is because of stubbornness or self-centeredness, I don't know. And I don't really care. But I want to keep doing this, and I want to make it amazing.
Yeah. Here's something that, and we've spoken to this offline a lot.
Yeah.
Just because it's pretty frightening. Where I consider, and I'm generally speaking about the industry.
Yeah.
Are very vocal people.
Yeah.
People have shit to say.
Sure.
On the reg, right?
Yeah,
so.
Right.
It's no surprise when you get on Facebook and you're like, or Instagram, whatever the fuck,
right,
right.
Like,
and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Wow, okay, cool.
Oh shit. Yeah.
No, but it's like, but it's more like, here's the thing, like, do you ever worry about? Do you have a fear of the oversensitive? I mean, I do. Because it's like we can't.
Yeah.
It's hard to say shit that's real.
Well, so okay, this is a great point. So I interviewed Sharon Young from Roosevelt Room the other night, and it was a great experience. It was incredibly bare. It was probably the most exposed I've ever felt, and with a guest ever in a chat. And her Chinese heritage is immensely important in how she views the world. So, for me, that's a very influential characteristic and something that defines maybe the way her perspective is on the whole entire world. Love, career, all like art, everything, right? So to me, it's very important, but I'm a white guy, and no, there was no pushback or anything, but I wanted to focus on that because I think it was really important. She's not only Chinese, and traditionally so, first generation, but she's also a woman. And for me, those are important combinations and things that people need to understand and kind of try to relate with. But I was thinking, should I differentiate Sharon for being Chinese, right? Is that too much? She's a woman. Yes, of course, a powerful woman. But should I even go to the extent to say that Chinese and being Chinese defines her?
Right.
Right? So who am I to do that? But I did it anyway. And I think it's important. And we get really afraid. And I, at least with the podcast, have never posted something of which I can't stand behind and that I wouldn't be willing to defend. Besides the one allegation that I was purporting the male agenda, besides that, everything else has been incredibly crisp, incredibly resonant, and no one has given me any shit about it.
Okay.
And we make dumb jokes and we say some shit, and that's fine. But like, otherwise, I feel very, very free to post and call things for what they are. Amazing, terrible. We all come from a place, so
yeah.
You have to be able to do that.
Yeah, it's something that I've actually thought about quite a bit, just on your behalf. You know, like just thinking, being like, oh my God, man, like what if somebody could just it seems like there's more energy spent in thinking an alternative way to hear a sentence or a thought, or a string of thoughts, as opposed to just being like, I like farts, like a fart, and like it just can't be that simple. Like people don't want it to be that simple. I'm again horrifically generalizing right now.
But I totally get it. But here's the thing about podcasts for me: they're not regulated. They are exposed and they are consumed via channels we come to approve and come to accept. So whether that is Google Play or Stitcher or whatever, right? So let's create content that does push it a little bit. Do you know why they go to podcasts? And this is my opinion, beyond being smarter, because the average income for people that regularly listen to podcasts is $10,000 more a year, by the way.
Wow.
There you go. A fair metric or fair statistic. So they're coming to a place where they don't want to feel judged. They want to listen to what they want to listen to without the moral police or the moral high ground on the horizon. So in a sense, it's counter-revolutionary or revolutionary in itself.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it can be that kind of medium. And I don't think I'm inflating it too much.
No, I don't think so at all. Just, let's see. Who is...
Yeah, so you get to like control the flow of this.
Yeah, I know, and it's like, it literally is fucking impossible. I'm like, I'm like listening to you and being like, what's going on? I gotta turn and look at this real quick.
So there was a question that Adam Harris asked, and I think that is absolutely worth asking because it was the most he didn't want to ask it.
Adam, I'm just reading it, buddy. Holy shit, it's a good one. That's a good one.
He's like, can I ask that? I'm like, well, you might as well fucking ask it.
Okay, so you need to play F, Marry, Kill. Fuck, Marry, Kill. Fuck,
Yeah,
Marry, Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew. I was actually gonna.
Sure.
I've already dropped like 10 F-bombs.
No, it's good. No,
it's not a thing.
absolutely fine.
Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Yep.
With 3 industry trends you've seen this year heading into the next.
So trends. So fuck a trend, marry a trend, or kill a trend. Is that right?
That's what.
I like that.
With 3 industry trends.
Oh, with 3. Yeah, three different ones.
3 different ones.
Right. So I'm glad you read it to me correctly because I would have named people. Which is that's polarizing.
Oh man. Literally had a full mouth of bourbon when you said that. Holy shit.
So fuck a trend as in I'm really, really into it. Okay. So tiki is a thing for a reason. And there's a reason. I found out why why it's so great. And that is because it's non-pretentious. It is all about inclusion and it's all about community. So tiki in its richness, its booziness, its dynamics with fruit juice and or syrups will always be fucking like insanely sensational.
Yeah.
It's a very sensual thing, right? So that makes sense.
Yeah, naturally.
Naturally. And I don't have any problem, and it's no question why people find it amazing in itself. So marry. What's the thing you want to settle down and marry? There is, I don't care how many more mezcales come to market, there is a cooling, familial, comfortable, transportative feeling that really feels like home with mezcal. So I don't care how much more comes out. It makes me feel okay. And I really like the way it makes me.
It makes me feel more than okay.
Yeah, I'm underselling it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So kill, that's the interesting one. Kill. Well, the word craft is pejorative to me at this point. It is a derogatory term that indicates output, indicates quality, and it's a modifier for a spirit. In other words, it says, you'll love this dude, he's on medicine. You'll love this girl, but she has Tourette's. It's a qualifier. Right. Doesn't have to be. So kill the fucking term. It's stupid anyway. And you and I don't care about it. And potentially, and hopefully, most of the consumers do not also care about that.
But they're using it.
Sure.
Yeah. It's out there now.
They think it's effective market-wise, but it's not.
But it's borderline socioeconomic now.
Sure.
It's viewed that way, like in terms of like, oh, it's craft. Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'll totally pay $18 for this.
Sure. Give me the runs for a week, but that's all right.
Yeah. Where does it come from? I don't know. Somewhere in Mexico, I think.
Yeah,
I think he said
good, right?
Yeah.
Artisanal, I think is the word for it.
Oh, that is a term.
Oh my God.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Adam, you didn't ask me, buddy, but I got to tell you, I fucking hate that word.
Yeah. If you ever step away to think that spirits aren't art, then you're truly not looking at the bigger picture. Mezcales are entirely art. Desert spirits are. Whiskeys are art. Spirits, for the most part, when crafted with compassion, a compositional paradigm, those are all fucking art. So, should just be known, right? You're a dude. I don't got to call you a dude. You're a dude. Self-evident.
Yeah. Okay. How do you feel? Let me ask you this. This is just a side note here. What, in your experiences talking about whiskey now, how do you feel? Are you on board with, I'm not going to name names. I don't disrespect the idea. I don't, I can feel one way or the other about this, but there are a lot of people in the community that have embraced a certain language or dialogue when it comes to whiskeys of the sourced variety.
Oh, sure. Who cares?
But what do you think that hurts? Do you think that from a consumer perspective, do you think that affects the overall quality of a bar?
No.
In terms of,
so, do you know who wrote "I'm a Believer"? Or sorry, the Monkey song "Daydream Believer." Do you know who wrote that song?
I would imagine one of the Monkees.
Nope. It was a sourced song.
Really?
You might know the guy who wrote it, in fact.
Dude,
By
don't
the
say
name
Stevie
of
Wonder. He wrote everything for everyone else back then.
Neil fucking Diamond.
Neil fucking Diamond.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I could see him singing that.
Of course. And it might be "I'm a Believer," but I think it's "Daydream Believer." But the point being, do you hate the Monkees any less because they sang a song you loved? Because someone else wrote it?
It's a great analogy, man.
No, you don't. It's a brilliant song. It resonates with you and it connects with you.
But here's the thing. To that analogy, one could say, dude, fucking cover bands suck.
Depends, right?
Well, yeah. But come on. Spasmatics?
Well, but there's a big difference, though. The difference is that Sinead O'Connor made just a beautiful song. Nothing Compares to You is one of the greatest ballads of all time. It's heart-wrenching. It is honest. It's exposed. Even the video itself is visually exposed.
Yeah.
And you're like, man, it's a beautiful song. Well, then what if I told you Prince wrote it? It's a Prince song.
Is it really?
Yes. So it's like, Oh, wait, does that change your perspective of how you connected with that song for 2 decades? It shouldn't. You had a feeling, you had a connection with that juice, that song. Why would you go back and erase history because of your moral high ground? It's okay that the greatest distillery in America is not from Kentucky. It's okay. Even if I like the flavor profiles better from Wild Turkey or Buffalo Trace or Heaven Hill especially, like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Just enjoy and be in the moment. Stop fucking thinking about it so much.
Amen, man.
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to brain cells at this point. Physically with my own hands, like, God.
Well, so, all right, so let me pace this for you. So we're just over the hour mark.
Yeah.
And you can, there's many different ways to take this. So you can find a concluding question. You can find 2 concluding questions. But, again, I don't want to be too self-involved here. And I'm not going to make everybody listen to this shit for too long.
No.
It's been a good banter thus far.
No, I've enjoyed it, man. We could do this shit every day. You know that.
I know it.
Okay, so we're going to finish up with, I'm going to give you 2. I'm going to give you Jessica Ramirez. Lovely Jessica. What is an unexpected trend you see in current day cocktails that you would have never imagined possible 5, 10, or even 20 years ago? 20 is, I think that's a little much.
I wasn't even allowed. No, I was allowed.
I was fucking 8, Jessica.
Yeah. The people are using lethal things. I love and also hate that because due diligence isn't really a thing when you talk about ingredients that you're sourcing yourselves that aren't coming out of a bottle that you buy through Class B, that you're like, I'm going to use charcoal. Okay. I'm going to use a marijuana tincture. Okay. Fine. I'm very open to all of this stuff, but you have no idea about the ramifications of these things, right. Such as dry ice, the same kind of thing, right? So that's the trend that I like and also don't like, is that overthinking it got us to a point where we felt like we needed to use carbon powder, carbon, whatever we're using, micronized carbon, right? Like, did we really need to use that? You could just use black dye if you're looking for the aesthetic. This shit's completely unimportant when it comes to a cocktail, because what's the one thing that counts with a cocktail? There's only one thing.
Does it taste good? That's
fucking right. Does marijuana make a cocktail taste good?
No.
Would you rather smoke?
Why would I want to put marijuana on my cocktail?
Right, when you can smoke it separately, right? So it doesn't make sense to me.
I think it's fucking pandering.
I
think it's kind of like, oh, you think I'm a dumbass. You're like, oh, hey, man, get the one with the marijuana in it. It's fucking awesome.
Right.
Like, no. Why? I mean, like, and it's cool. Like, if it's done right, however they're doing it.
But it's still, you're right.
I mean, we're talking hypothetically because we're talking about an example of something.
Sure.
But, like, yeah, why not? Man, that is something that's scary.
It is. Because you could die. You could just like simply die. I thought I was getting a whiskey, but I died. Right? Like, that's a fucking terrible thing. Just drink the thing.
We're already poisoning ourselves.
Right, but in a good way.
In a good way. In a great way.
In an amazing way.
My God, speaking of that, hand me that guy right there.
The Maker's Barrel for $7,000. Dun, 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 no, I mean, you guys nailed it with this one at 55%. And I'm warming up to it profoundly as we continue to sip it. But
it's not hard.
I go on the road because there's some level that I know that I might die and get in a wreck, right? Totally.
Right.
Not drinking a goddamn cocktail, not eating sushi. It's like that episode of The Simpsons where the guy doesn't know how to cut the fugu. I don't expect to die and then like have to make amends with my family and my life within 24 years. Shouldn't be that complicated.
All because you had that marijuana cocktail.
Right. Or a tobacco cocktail. Ugh. Ridiculous.
Tobacco's not, I think...
You can still kill a dude with nicotine, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Learn how in spy school.
It's true. But I think that at the same time, I mean, preparation is everything. Tobacco is probably least, I don't know. I've done it. No. I've experimented personally. I've never served anyone anything with tobacco in it. Now, there is a bar in town that obviously does. They have a magical recipe for it, and it's brilliant. But, yeah.
He's been working on that shit for years, though.
Yeah.
Takes a while.
Yeah, man. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I feel you, man. That trend is there any other trend, do you think? Is there anything else that you...
I mean, all the same stuff anybody else thinks. Flavored whiskeys, or it's great that they're trying, but there's no point. There's no real place for that in our narrative and our experiences with people. Besides Fireball, which is the main success and probably the only success in that category, I don't think we need it. Let's just stay pure. I think that's ultimately what people want. That's why they go to podcasts, to get their content so they can go in a place that's isolated. I'm serious, right?
Yeah.
It is. They want... I think that the exploration of content and you discovering it yourself is the key right now. And that's what, God forbid, you use the word millennials, but I think that's what people are looking for. They don't want to be fed anything. Honey whiskey? Fuck you. I'm going to go drink single barrel, blah, blah, blah. It's dusty behind $7,000. Like, that's what people are really trying to do, I think.
What do you say to someone on your side of the bar that says something to the effect of, on the subject of whiskeys, I don't do brown liquors. I don't do that.
I'd ask them why.
Okay. And I just don't. It's just not my thing.
What do you do?
I do.
I deal with this shit all the time.
I do Ruby Red. I do, and I hate to this is literally that accent is just, that's my idiot fun accent.
Sure.
It's not
Gomer
not
Pyle
saying,
shit. Yeah.
I'm not up here like, long live the Confederacy. It's not like that. It's just, but that's a difficult thing. It's
just deflect them with a question, right? So
I'm just curious to see your perspective.
Yeah, so I only drink this thing. Cool. Do you like things that are delicious? Yeah, I do. Do you like things that make you feel something? Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good.
Emotional connectivity.
Can I provide that for you? Do you trust me just a little bit so I can make you something that truly will change your night? And you're like, okay, I won't say no to that. And then you go and take your liberties. Always appeal to the psychology and always appeal to the emotions. To me, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, man.
But what do I know?
Yeah, no. You don't know shit. You ain't shit.
I ain't shit.
Okay, man. Let's let me
So this is great. So we have a final question.
Yeah.
That I like this. No, go ahead and scroll through. I'll guide through and I'll just talk a bunch while you do all of this stuff. There was 20 questions. Great participation from everybody I asked, and it's just been lovely engaging with you.
These questions are fucking amazing,
They're
man.
great,
Like this should be, I mean, as much as honestly, I mean, they're not necessarily all industry related, but
not at all.
I will ask you. Well, I don't know, man. There's
it's hard. What's the swan song here? How do you go out?
Well, we were talking about specifically the whiskeys and cocktails and trends. So I could finish with this one. And excuse me. If there is one classic cocktail that you wish you had invented, what would it be and why? In other words, why do you think, or why do you wish you had invented the Manhattan, for example?
Right.
And what were your fictional circumstances behind its creation?
Aaron Kushner from Time Out Austin. That's a brilliant, creative, writer-centric question. Whenever you figure out the trinity of chords in a 12 bars blues song or 12-bar blues song, or you find the perfect pop melody, 3 is always the perfect number. Yeah. Nirvana, Cream, you can talk about some other bands, but for me, with as much passion and as much happiness as I've got out of daiquiri, I know everybody says this shit, but you know what? It doesn't even matter. Sweet citrus booze. I don't care if you're making a sidecar. Just take the Cointreau. If you wanted to keep it to 3, right?
Yeah.
Or the orange liqueur, fine, fucking fine. But what would be the circumstances? This is a better question, I think.
Yeah, for the daiquiri, if you had invented it.
Yeah.
Oh,
what would that be
man.
like?
Go on.
I think that, like any great supple cocktail, and I say this just projecting, but we have a rule behind the bar. And some people have told me that rule is to get people laid. That's great.
Yeah, man, I was about to say, there better be hot bitches in this story.
Right. But I think it's more than that. I think it's a great drink disarms us. it allows us to truly connect with ourselves, even if it's not who we're with, right? We're at a bar top, just by ourselves. A great cocktail brings all of those curtains down and you start to connecting with people. And so if I ever had the privilege or the opportunity to create something that just allowed people to be honest and transparent with each other.
Daiquiris do that.
They do. They absolutely do that. That's what I want.
I wish till this day that I had a YouTube reaction video that I don't do that, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's the first time I ever thought about doing it, to watch my wife have a daiquiri for the first time. It was insane.
It's romantic.
Yeah.
It
was like watching Citizen Kane for the first time.
Right. Which, well, it's not Apocalypse Now, but whatever. We can digress. But that's the thing. So if we could tie all of this stuff together, it's that anybody fucking wants is to be loved and to love and to connect with people without having to apologize for it. I want to say what I need to say. I don't want you to just mock me, and I don't want you to scorn me and give me that fucking squinty-eyed thing. I just want to be me. And in essence, all that is punk rock. Shid. That's it.
Yeah, man.
Just live, exist, do what you want to do, and have a good time. That's it.
That's all there is.
Yeah, and perhaps this is like...
yeah, that's all there needs to be, rather. Yeah.
That's right. And maybe this is the end of the world's end. I just did watch that lately.
Oh,
we just want to get high and loaded and do what we want. Anyway, but yeah. So we traversed through multiple questions, and I am really appreciative that people wanted to participate, that they wanted to ask these questions.
No.
And maybe I forced them. I don't care. It was great. And we're gonna do another 100. And we'll see what 300 looks like. And
hell yeah, man!
Sharing this Maker's 7 gram barrel, brilliant, and you did a wonderful job.
I wasn't alone, but yeah, it was an extraordinary opportunity. So
it was good, man. We're gonna have to do it again. Man. And I am taking pictures. Hey. Thank you, Shid.
No, man, thank you. This is an amazing. I'm honored that you would even ask me to even do this. This is incredible. I figured you would have had somebody way more distinguished and more classy and more everything.
There are no more distinguished and classy.
There's some classy motherfuckers.
I met some fuckers, I assure you. So
classy.
But I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Yeah, this is Show de Vie.
Yeah.
200.
200. 100.
Oh, man.
Paying homage. Everybody stay safe from the hurricane and all that shit, yeah?
Yes. Oh, my God. Yes. Get gas. Why are we getting gas, by the way? There's people... There are gas stations on the way here. They were literally out of gas.
Strange.
It's like, and it's like there's just squalls in and about town, but people are driving around like the traffic was incredible, and it's what the fuck, man. Settle down.
Well, salute.
Got it.
There we go. Thank you.
Oh man.
Well, there we have it. Over 200 episodes and going strong. It was a great experience sipping that 7 grand private select barrel from Maker's Mark. Great whiskey, great conversation, great host. Shid, thank you so much for doing this, man. You did an exceptional job. It's great getting the participation from people that have been on the other side of it. I get this chance to ask people all these questions for an hour, and sometimes they want to ask me questions, and again, maybe it's self-centered, maybe it's self-aggrandizing, but all in all, it's a great experience to share, and I am such a proponent of sharing and being honest and being transparent, and I hope that you that listen to the show get to learn things. You feel optimistic, you feel like you can accomplish great things, and that there are people out there, a great network, a great community in this hospitality industry that can support you. That's really all this is about. And I really am so very, very thankful. I mean, this has been just an amazing experience, and I do not ever take it for granted. And I hope I can bring you 100 more episodes, so many great people to talk to, so many great personalities. And it's just been a pleasure. Thank you so much for listening to Show de Vie with Mike G. And no matter who is on your list of the people you would love to interview, have yet to have the chance, or if you're thinking Black Mirror is really going to fuck up my week if I keep watching it, the mental exhaustion just to deal with that show, please keep thinking.